Hey guys, I just finished building this DIY rustic bookcase in the corner of my home office. And I built it entirely out of salvaged wood, which is wood I didn't pay anything for, as well as black pipe. And hopefully after you watching this video, it'll give you some ideas on maybe building a similar unit for your own home. So let's head out to my workshop and I'll show you how I built it. So this is the salvaged wood that I got from a local log cabin manufacturer. They leave out wood at least once a week, and people take pieces for their fireplace or their wood stove. I took these so I could actually build something. They're just a bunch of posts. Some are different thicknesses. So the bottom two, these two right here, are going to be the bottom of my bookcase. I did buy some feet, metal black feet for the bottom. I have 4 of them. They will go on the bottom to jack it up just a little bit so that it won't rest just on my rug. It'll just be these feet. That will be the bottom, and they will go underneath like this. Like that. You'll see eventually. So those first 2 pieces are going to be the bottom shelf. Then we would have the second shelf. And then it will be the third shelf over there. And they'll all be stacked up on top of each other using metal piping right here that I bought from Home Depot with flanges to keep them separated. And those metal pipe fixtures will also act as kind of bookends to hold up the books. So I've cut everything to 45 inches long because that's the actual spot in the corner of my my home office that it will fit. So everything's ready to go, other than I'm going to glue each of these 2 posts together so we have one full post, or one full level. So I'm going to start with putting some glue in between here and using my pipe clamps to clamp the bottom portion together. Then I'm obviously going to do the same to the other 2 levels. I'm just going to just join them together with glue. Just glue them together. So first thing I'm going to do is glue these bottom 2 together, and that'll take a while to harden, and then I'll move on to the other levels. And then after I get everything glued up, I'm going to do some quick sanding. I do like the rustic look of these posts, and so I'm not going to do a whole lot of sanding, but I'm going to just get off, the top layer, make it look a little bit nicer. But I do like the rustic look of this salvage wood. I paid nothing for this wood, which is great. And so let's get up to let's glue the bottom layer. Okay, so I just put some wood glue on the sides of the bottom level, and now I'm going to flip this down, pull it back, and do the same on the other side. Okay, so that's glued up and just waiting for it to harden. I'm going to give it a few hours. I'll probably just give it in the morning, come back, and then glue up the other 2 levels. But I have 3 pipe clamps, and this last piece is just so I could clamp onto it, because back here there are some splits in the wood. I just didn't want this part of the clamp to be pushing up against that, so I just used an extra post that I had up there. Obviously there's no glue on this post, but these two should be nice and glued. I'm going to give it overnight and then get back to it in the morning. Okay, so I'm going to unclamp this glue up of the bottom layer, and I'm going to glue these other two levels today as well. Okay, so the three different levels have been glued up. This is the bottom level. It's roughly a foot in width. It's exactly a foot in width. Here's the second level. It is just over, it's 8 1/4, and the top is like 6 1/4. So it's going to be kind of a gradation. And I just put some bricks in here so that you can maybe visualize what it's going to look like at the end. I'm going to be using these 16-inch metal pipes instead of the brick, so there'll be 2 of them there, and so the distance from the first level to the second level will be at least 16 inches, and there's going to be 2 in the middle here and then 2 on this side as well. And then for the top level, between the second and the third, there's going to be 1-inch pipes. So the idea is so I can put bigger books on the bottom shelf than on this shelf, but I can still put, you know, pretty decent sized books up to a foot, you know, high on this shelf. And on the top there'll be probably some more books, but knickknacks or whatever. So instead of the bricks, we're going to have metal piping, black pipe. So once again, there'll be 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So that's basically what it's going to look like. So now I'm going to take these pieces off, and I'm going to start sanding. And I'm not going to video the whole sanding process. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a random orbital sander, which is right here. I have a DeWalt random orbital sander, and I'm going to start with a 60 grit, then go to 100 grit, then go to 150 grit, and then go to 220 grit. Because before I attach the metal piping, I'm going to be finishing all 3 levels. So at this point in time, I'm just going to start sanding. I already have a 60 grit sandpaper on here. So I'm going to start with the 60 grit, and I'll film a little bit of each grit on the bottom piece, just so you can see what's involved in the process. So I am wearing a mask outside with glasses, even though I am outside. So here we go. This is the second level, sanding it with 60 grit. And this is the top level, using 60 grit on this as well. And then what I'll do is I'll move on to 100 grit, then 150, and then 220. I won't be filming those, but that will be the final bit of sanding that I'll do before adding a finish to the wood. So each level has now been sanded down with my random orbital sander. Very smooth. It's perfect for taking a finish. I'll be adding the finish tomorrow, and then I'll be assembling the bookcase. Okay, so I brought the different levels of wood in the house, and I'm using a Minwax fast drying polyurethane. I'm going to put either 1 or 2 coats. We'll check out after the first coat, see how it looks, which I already did the first coat. This is on the bottom of each level, and I won't be filming me actually using the finish on these pieces of wood, but I think it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so I'm about to install the first foot in this in the bottom of the shelving unit. I'm going to be using these fasteners. These are about 1 1/4 inch fasteners. They have hex heads. One thing good about them is they have almost like a built-in washer. So I'm using an adapter here, 1/4 inch adapter for a hex, and I'm going to go into the smallest hole to start. Okay, so the first one is in. I'm going to do a couple more. This is kind of a damaged area of the wood, so luckily I can get around it. So what happens when you're using salvaged wood, you never know what you're going to get. So I'm going to put one right over here as well. Okay, that's 2. And this is the 3rd one. Okay, that's about all I can get in there now, which I think perfectly stable. I just use a clamp just to hold it in place. And I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom one. I'm basically eyeballing. Okay, so I have the next one clamped up, and I'm going to start right over here. It's good. Basically just have it lined up with the one above it. There's one. Okay, now I can take this off. And do the one above. And there's all different size holes on these feet, and I'm just using the smallest hole. Okay. So that's done, that's done, that's done. Okay, now I'm just going to do the other side. Yeah, I'm going to do this one without the clamp. Just basically eyeballing it. It's good. All right, so the feet are on. That's done. So now we gotta add the pipes in between the levels. Okay, so each flange has 3 holes for screws. And this, as you can see, it's going to fit in perfectly. And it's beveled so that it will stop the screw. So number 2 screw is fine. I'm just going to hold this and okay, that held really nice. So I'm going to get a couple more. So it's just a process of screwing in the flanges at this point that have the pipes attached to them. And what's nice is these are black screws. They kind of match the decor. Okay, so that's on pretty rock solid. So I've already marked out where the next one will go. So I'll get 3 screws. And I've already measured from bottom to top. Now if you remember, I glued 2 pieces together for the bottom, for every level actually. And so you want to try to stay away from the joint, which is what I'm doing here. That's pretty right on. And if I measure from the end, 8 inches is way out here. So it gives, so I'm ending around 7 inches here, so it gives an inch play from the top. So let's get a screw in. All right, there's one. And you can see up top here, they're pretty flush, which is great. Put them back. And the third one is right here. So that's nice and solid. I'm going to do the same thing in the middle, same thing down that end. Okay, so it's time to put the middle ones in. I'm going to start with, and I did measure it 16 3/8 from bottom to top. All right. Okay, that's rock solid. Just want to double check the height. Yeah, it's more like 16 1/4. I gotta come up a little bit. That's what's nice about this. You can adjust just by unscrewing. Oh, that's much better. 16 3/8. That's great. Matches here as well. Perfect. Okay, so let's do the other middle one. Nice. Okay. So we got 4 of them done. Okay, now we have to do the third set. Okay, now it's time to do the last 2 in the bottom, on the bottom level. I already marked it out. Alright, and this one is the final one for the bottom level. Alright, so they're all on. Okay, so before I start securing the top piece here, I wanted to make sure everything was level and I'm all the way over. Everything should be lined up because this whole thing is 45 inches long, and I want to also be in line with the back, and that's seems like that's level as well. So I checked the sides and I checked the back, and everything seems to be level. So I want to now start securing the top piece. Okay, so I'm going to start securing some of the top flanges. I like the way it's looking. There's one more level to this, and that's over there on the other side. Okay, so the second layer, or second level, is attached, and now I'm going to take this off of the sawhorses and attach the third level. Okay, so here is the shelving unit, the bookcase. The first 2 levels are done. Now the last piece to it is to put on a third level, and this is going to be a foot. The pipes are going to only be a foot long for this level. So let's get to it. Okay, so now I'm moving on to this second level where I have to put the pipes. I'm using 1 foot pipes instead of 16-inch that I have on the bottom, just because I wanted to put kind of smaller books on the second shelf. So once again, I had to do this cleaning of the pipe. I didn't want to get all over everything when I assembled it. So I'm just using simple green and sprayed some on a shop towel, and it's going to be going something like that, and then they'll be in the middle, same place, and at the end, same place. So that's basically going to be the whole bookshelf completed. I like to call this an industrial style bookshelf, or a rustic bookshelf. I do like industrial style decor, and this is going in my home office. So let me clean the rest of these 1-foot pipes, and we can move on to securing them. Okay guys, so we're going to be finishing up the shelving unit or the bookcase today. We're pretty much almost done. For the next level, which is the 3rd level, I'm going to only use 1 set of pipes instead of 2 side by side, because the top level is only 6 inches from back to front. So what I did is I measured out pretty much exactly where I want to put these pipes, and I've secured them with at least 1 screw. At this point, I think I'm going to just add the rest of the screws. Just so you know, these flanges are called mini flanges. Let me take one off. These only have 3 holes. You can buy 1/2-inch flanges that have 4 holes, but the diameter of them are wider. These right here are just over 2 inches. Actually, these flanges here, called mini flange, these are 2 3/8 in diameter, and it's a circle. So these are the ones that I wanted to use, and I think they're working perfectly for my application. So right now I want to secure the rest of the screws. So there's only going to be 9 total screws that are going into level 2. So let me just continue putting these in. Okay, so those are secured now. Just tighten this one down a bit. Okay, I'm going to grab I'm going to bring the 3rd level over and kind of dry fit it before I start securing anything. Yeah, I like the way that sits. Take a quick look. Just want to check the level at the top. Perfectly level, which is great. I think I need to move it a little bit to the left. A little bit more. Actually looks good. Check the back. It's got to come back a bit. Notice that I put the pipes, these pipes here, I lined them up with the ones below. I think that looks good. Just want to put a couple of screws in there just to secure it. Secure the middle one first. good. Just want to double check after securing that one. Make sure everything's still. I need to move this over a little bit. Looks good. All right. Looking good. I'm pretty anal about keeping everything level. Very good. All right, let me get one into this side over here. That's level. Okay, I'm just going to secure the last few. Done. Those are done. There's one more. That's it. Now I just got to move it into its home. I think it came out really nice. Next time you'll see it, it'll be right where it's going to be in my home office. So here it is, right in the corner of my home office. Before I even put some books on it and knickknacks, etc. So the next thing you'll see is it loaded up with my books, etc. So here it is, all loaded up. I think it's looking good. I even have space for some more books if I need to. But love the way it came out. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe.